A great Christmas horror movie is almost as rare as a white Christmas here on Merseyside. So many entries providing the same abject disappointment of drawing the curtains back on the morning to 14 degrees and drizzle, and a lump of coal in your stocking, which can be very uncomfortable, I can tell you. In recent years, we've had the joys to the world of Krampus and rare exports, and to some extent Dead End and The Lodge, though films set at Christmas don't necessarily ramp up the Santa factor enough to be included as a must-watch every December. Of course, there's the movie equivalence of receiving a gift-wrapped PlayStation 3 when you really wanted the 5. Then there's the ill-judged remakes of our main feature, neither of which are particularly bad per se, but, and I'm talking to you here when a stranger calls, if you name something different, the expectations from movie purists wouldn't be so high. Hasn't the movie industry learned from the hugely underrated Halloween 3 after 40 years?
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
So now, why not join me in the movie that inspired John Carpenter to bring us Halloween on the original, senses-jarring sleigh ride of Black Christmas 1974. Under the confident direction of Bob Clark, who had already cut his horror teeth with Death Dream and Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, Black Christmas, originally titled Silent Night, Evil Night in the US, is a deceptively complex horror mystery. Some might say slasher, but there's too much going on here for that somewhat disposable adjective. Black Christmas begins in predictable horror territory. An anonymous prowler climbing the exterior of a sorority house and into the attic. This is standard fare. But soon after, the house phone rings and then it's not.
Hey, quiet! It's him again!
Let me like your pretty piggy.
Here we meet Jess, who is first to encounter the eye-opening obscenities from our unhinged caller. And why not utilise the existing unease established by The Exorcist the year previously to chilling effect? Fellow sister Margot Kidder as Barb is way more sassy. She's having none of this and makes it very clear.
So why don't you go find a wall socket and stick your tongue in it? That'll give you a charge.
But our caller won't let her go without one final threat.
I'm going to kill you.
Housemate Claire Harrison doesn't think that was a clever move. He could be dangerous. Barb is barbed.
You really are too much, Barb. Oh, come on, this is a sorority house, not a convent. I'll see you later. I'm gonna go pack.
Anyway, they're all returning home for the holidays. Claire goes to pack, but she doesn't know how right she was.
Who is that? Who is it? Who is it?
Meanwhile, the greatest house mother anybody could ever wish for arrives. Mrs. McHenry can certainly party with the rest of them.
Before booze.
And on the telephone, we're introduced to Jess's boyfriend, Peter. She has something to tell him, but that can wait until tomorrow. Peter seems pleasant enough. He helps Claire's father find the sorority house as she's failed to show up next morning. Mr. Harrison agrees to give Mrs. McHenry a trip to the store, which is probably just as well.
This is very kind of you, Mr. Harrison.
God damn it, Claude, you little prick!
This is very kind of you, Mr. Harrison.
I'll just die if I don't get this recipe.
Jess meets up with Peter with the news. She's pregnant. She doesn't want to keep the baby. Peter does. His true colours are showing.
Don't you ever consider anyone but yourself?
Peter is a budding pianist and seems more concerned with his future than hers. But somebody else knows.
Hello? Hello?
Billy!
Billy?
Where did you put the baby, Betsy?
You've got the wrong number.
What your mother and I must know is... Billy!
Mr. Harrison and the girls have reported Claire missing. There's little they want to do at the moment, but at least Bob has been kind enough to give them the number for the sorority house.
It's, fellatio 20880.
And Peter's piano recital goes, well as can be expected. There's a new report at the station. Another younger girl has gone missing. Here, Lieutenant Ken Fuller, played by genre heavyweight John Saxon, takes Claire's disappearance more seriously. He's on the case now, while Bob is on the Christmas spirit.
Did you know that there's a certain species of turtle that can screw for 3 days without stopping?
She's also on the defence.
Think it's my fault, don't you? Barb, stop it.
She was the last one unpleasant to Claire.
Barb, you're drunk. Go to bed.
The search is on for the missing child. Mrs. McHenry is packing. Well, kind of. But the cat, Claude, has been doing some investigating of his own. Mrs. McHenry goes to find him.
Claude? Where are you?
Don't risk loft ladders while half-cut viewers unless you want to contemplate Christmas in casualty. And our killer sadistically waits. And waits. And waits for her to discover his gruesome handiwork before... The child is found. It's no longer just a missing persons case, and the terrifying calls continue.
Hello? Stop this!
Finally, Jess reports the calls, but Peter is back, conveniently. He was sleeping upstairs. And now he drops a holiday bombshell on her.
I'm quitting the conservatory and we're getting married.
This is the last thing Jess wants, and she tells him. Back at the station, bumbling Sergeant Nash is finally convinced by the lieutenant to look into the obscene calls. A girl is dead, another is missing. Does he think they might be connected? And luckily they spot Bob's little joke with the household number.
What's this? Oh, that's the number at the sorority house. Fellatio? Yeah, it's a new exchange. FE.
Peter leaves, but not before threatening Jess not to abort the baby.
I think you better leave.
If you try getting an
I said
abortion,
get out.
you're going to be very sorry.
Lieutenant Fuller has arrived. He wants to put a tap on the telephone. He checks out Claire's possessions, quizzes the remaining girls and departs, leaving them an on-site officer for reassurance. Phil is a sweet girl. This is a lot for her. She takes herself to bed. The tap is in place. Now it's a waiting game. she's having an asthma attack and a nightmare that someone was in her room. But otherwise, all is calm, all is bright, until...
Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him.
Agnes, it's me, Billy. It's all right, Agnes. It's all right. Shh, pretty Agnes.
Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord.
Your phone's ringing.
44 Cruiser 354.
Hello? Who's there?
Too late for Bob, they're tracing the call. It's too short. They lose it. It's looking more and more like Peter is our seasonal psycho, though.
We can straighten things out. There's nothing to get so upset about. Peter, where are you?
Fuller hears the call. He's suspicious too, but it can't be him, can it? He was at the house tonight when the call came in. Fuller checked him out anyway, while Phil checks on Barb.
Barb, are you awake?
And then Billy calls again.
Hello?
And this time, they get a trace on the call.
Oh, shit. Jennings? Jennings? Jennings, where the hell are you?
It's me, Billy.
Is it Peter? Is it Billy? You'll have to watch and maybe you'll find out. Black Christmas really is a joy to the world on how to do this subgenre justice. It's an unnerving, creepy carousel of pretty unpleasant shocks and great humour in equal measure.
Ho, 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 shit.
Santa, please.
That surprisingly fit side by side very competently. The similarities with Halloween, Carpenter himself citing it as his inspiration, are fully apparent. The POV cameras, the holiday murders, the claustrophobic settings and the low but inventive body count, proving that quality conquers quantity every time. And despite the nastiness afoot, this feels essentially festive. There's a grand scope to the exterior locations, demonstrating director Clarke's intention to create more than just a disposable slasher. And the cast are fully on board with him. Kidder naturally stealing every scene she's in, as she did in De Palma's Sisters 2 years before. while John Saxon is, well, of course it's Nancy's dad. Ultimately, this is a wonderful 70s timepiece. A perfect Christmas cake, lovingly decorated and laced with more than enough booze. Why not help yourself to a slice? But watch out for the nuts.
Agnes, it's me, Billy.
Hope you enjoyed our little Christmas gift to you guys. Coming soon, we have the 1968 occult shocker The Devil Rides Out. Please remember to like and subscribe and have a very Merry Christmas.
Ho, 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 shit.
Santa, please.